Good morning, good afternoon. This is Coach Beasley here. Going to take you through lecture number 6 of our raster imaging class. Let me make sure my screen is being shared like it's supposed to be. Doo-doo-doo. Yep, there it is. All right. There's that. All right. So what we're going to be going through today is number 6, which is going to be talking about your layers palette specifically, managing that thing, what is all there within the layers palette, how it affects your picture, and then also going through how to, take your project, insert files into a different file from one file into another. Just a couple of different ways of doing it. You just figure out which way works best for you, based on the project that you're doing. And things like blend modes, we're going to talk about kind of extensively. Layer masking, we're going to talk about kind of extensively to try to exhaust most, if not everything, there. Last thing we're going to be covering is this. We got our first project coming up, project one called Dreams of Self. This could possibly be something you put in your portfolio if you do it right and spend the time on it. So that's what I definitely want y'all to do is using all the things we've talked about before, putting it together into a project, the things you did in the labs, the things we talked about in the lectures and that sort of thing. Now you're going to kind of put it together as one of the final projects that we're going to be doing in this particular class. We're roughly at the halfway point of this course, so I thank y'all very much for sticking it out and being here for this long and kind of going through everything and trying to take care of it. Couple of little not homework, but before we get started, I put out an announcement of a video create now event that's coming from Adobe. It is essentially Adobe is coming into town on the 28th of this month to showcase some new products with their Premiere and After Effects programs, but it's also a place where you can come and network with people like yourselves, people who work in the industry, who could possibly get you a job in the future that you want to connect with and talk to. So if you have not gotten that announcement or did not get that or see it, send me an email, let me know, and I'll send you the link to the RSVP for it. Also, on Wednesday, the 26th of this month, there is Adobe is also going to be here to showcase a thing called Photography Create Now, which is going over possibly Photoshop and what's new innovative features within it and anything that may be happening in the future and anything else related to it. Again, it's an opportunity to network with people. Location is going to be somewhere around the Lindbergh Train Center, MARTA station, if you're familiar with that area, with that Lindbergh area there. What I want us to do is RSVP and then try to arrange like a location like, hey, let's meet all at the Lindbergh train station at this location, and we all walk over there together, as kind of a collective group. That way we can go in mass together. We can network with everybody. We could see what new innovative things they're doing, network again, and then part away and make sure everybody gets home right. All right. So if you're interested in it, again, send me an email. Let me know which one, the photography or the video or both. I'll give you the link to it so that way you can RSVP and let me know that you're coming. Also, just email me back and let me know, hey, I registered for it. I'll meet you there, kind of thing. So that way, when it comes time, I'll send out another announcement and email to let everybody know, hey, we're going to meet over here at this location, kind of thing. Um, there'll be little finger food and some drinks there that you should be free, so you don't have to eat a whole lot and schmooze and network. If you have business cards, bring them. If you have different ways of being able to network, I'll show you one example here that I use. There's an app that's called Hi Hello that you can put on your phones. Essentially, this is like the dot card, if you're familiar with that, where you can have like a QR code to be able to share with people, like a digital business card, where you have all your contacts and everything in place. And let's see if I can log in quickly and show you how this kind of works. So what you would do is you would come to this website, you would sign up for this, and it's free to do the sign up. Uh, uh, yeah, I have an account. Enter my email address. I forget what it is. Hold on. And password. Good Goobity, I don't remember my password. Oh, that's right, because I did the sign in with Google. That makes it easier. Um, let it finish doing its thing. Da, 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 da. Come on. My computer is just running grievously slow today. I don't know why. I think it's just tired and I need to probably clear it of something. I don't know what. It's thinking. I'm just impatient. Don't like it when things that used to run smoothly and quickly, all of a sudden it stops doing that. Like something drastic happened, but you're not familiar with what that drastic thing is. I'm on a computer. What are we doing? Sorry about this delay here. Hopefully it doesn't be like this the whole time. Anyway, it's logging in. You would come to the website, you would sign up, you would log in, and the web address is hihello.me. So HIHELLO, hihello.me. You come here, sign up for free. You can once you sign up on the computer, you use the computer to create your business card. I've created three of them for free. So I don't know how many of these different cards you can make that'll still be free, but I've made three of them for free and they all still work. There are some limitations on the free version versus if you pay for the premium as far as what you could share, like how much information you can share and what you could put out there and that sort of thing, and how you can design it and such. But let me show you what the my Georgia Piedmont one looks like. So you would go online and you would do your editing and you would have an interface that looks like this that lets you, put in all the information that you need to put in. Once you do that, you go and download and install the app on your phone. When you have the app on your phone, you'll have a QR code that would look similar to this that people can, take a picture of with their phone camera, or scan it with their QR code reader on their phone, Android or iPhone, it doesn't matter, and they'd be able to save your contact information. And then if they wanted to, they can share their contact information with you through the app itself. And they would also be able to download the app and install it themselves. So it's a good way to network because you can give your information to somebody without actually having to have a business card in hand. Also, through the app, when someone gives you a business card, later on, you can go and scan that business card and pull all the data off of that business card and add it to your own contacts list. So that way you have it and be able to get in contact with somebody. Besides just the QR code, there's other ways by email, text, or like linking, doing a link and sending it to somebody or something like that. You could do those type of things through Hi Hello as well. So just want to let you know that that exists before we move forward. So if you want to go and do any of those networking events, it's always a good idea to have something like that. And that's about the best thing that I've seen because it is free, and free is always a good thing. All right, we are going to go get into our presentation here. If the computer will stop being enormously slow. Okay, so we're going to talk about mastering layers in Photoshop. Last week we talked about using the selection tools and the process of going through and involving your different selection tools and trying to master those particular tools, because in combination they will help you get the best selection possible. Now, your layers palette is kind of the next most important thing in Photoshop to learn how to use and master, because you're going to be using it for a lot of things. Layering pictures, when you have multiple pictures that you want to put into a project and you want to make like a composition of them, you're going to be using your layers. Not only will you be using the multiple layers to bring the individual pictures in, You'll be managing those layers by putting names on them, by changing opacity, blend mode, visibility, locking the layer as you feel like you need to, any of those type of things. But you're also going to be doing a lot of layer masking too. The layer masking idea, I introduced you to it last week with the select and mask, because that was the end result that you would get where you would hide the parts of the layer that you didn't want to see. So we're going to go further into that concept and process, so you can see how you can play around with that as we go along. Um, so again, you have a bunch of different things with your layers panel that you want to access. What we're going to do is we're going to open a couple of different pictures. We're going to talk about what's there in the layers panel and what happens when you add or take away a layer, being able to manage it, change their different properties and things like that to get what you want out of everything. This here, talking about different layer types. We're going to talk about the background layer because that is important. We're going to talk about the regular basic layers that are there. Smart objects and adjustment layers. I'm going to save that into another class because I don't think we're going to get to it for me talking about this part of the presentation in the lecture. I don't think we're going to get to it talking about it now, but it is something that is going to come up. Smart objects is a way to apply filters in a non-destructive way. So when you want to do special effects and filters that you want to apply to your images, to your layers, you're going to turn them into what is called a smart object, smart filtering, smart layers. You're going to see those same words talking about the same thing. Adjustment layers are a way to do color corrective adjustments and some photo correction adjustments. So when we start talking about photo correction, color correction, and photo retouching, we'll hit on the adjustment layers. So we'll talk about those at that particular time. Talking about it right now kind of won't make sense leading up to the project that we're going to do because you're not going to use them necessarily with what we're going to be doing for the project, at least not now. So we'll talk about that on a later date. Layer organization, creating groups. We'll talk about grouping layers together. You can, your layers palette's kind of big. You can hold a lot of different layers, and then you can hold a lot of groups of layers, and then those groups can hold a lot of layers, and it can get kind of Inception style like, and it can get kind of nuts. So you want to make sure that you name your layers, manage their stack order, so that way you know what's in front and behind in your project or whatever, for your compilations that you're doing. Color coding is kind of a new thing that they have with the layers palette. I don't do the color coding part because I just never employed it, but I'll show you how you could possibly use it if that's something that you want to do. But it's one of those things that it's nice to have, but not necessary to use all the time. Layer management techniques, duplicating a layer, moving between documents, like transferring, a layer across to another file, merging layers together, and layer composition, layer comps, which are basically, layer comps is another panel that I don't use that much because I just don't feel a use for it. But it allows you to have groups of layers activated and deactivated to show to a client. So let's say you have a compilation picture and you created like three different versions of it. Instead of creating three separate files, you take all the layers and you turn some of them on, some of them off as far as visibility, and you create a composition out of it, create a comp. And then you have another version, and then another version, and another version. So you can have all these different comps in one file to switch back and forth between. A lot of times it's to review and show to a client, but it's something that I don't really employ that much, but it is something that's there. It's kind of cool to use. This is an example of some blending modes. Some of the and this is kind of like the different categories of them. You have your normal standard blending modes. Then you have your darkening versions that will make things darker. You have your lightening versions that'll make things lighter. Then you have things that deal with the contrast, the difference between the light and dark areas that will increase or decrease that. These are just different categories. I have some guides that I'll show you later on that will help you explain visually or very technically. You got two different guides. One is just a visual guide. The other one's a very technical guide talking about the math and everything that goes into that particular blend mode. It Spend time learning the blend modes because they will help you create some nice effects with what you're doing. It's the same blend modes that we talked about with the paintbrush tools, with your painting tools. It's the same blend modes, just over in the layers palette. So you'll have the ability to kind of look at those and apply the blend wherever the blend modes exist within this program or other programs like Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, Premiere, and some of the other ones that are out there in the world. The blend modes kind of do the same thing. They always do the same effect if they're named the same way. Let's see. Advanced masking techniques. We'll talk about this. This is basically when you create the layer mask, you have the ability to use your paintbrush tool to paint on that layer mask. Or like we did with the selected mask, double click on the layer mask and kind of jump into that selected mask feature to kind of do your job that way. There is a thing called clipping mask, which is kind of fun. We'll talk about that next week when we talk about text, because your clipping mask, you'll probably use that with text a lot more than you will with just something like a regular picture or whatever. But you'll see how the clipping masks work. I'll kind of give you an idea of what it can do for you, and then you'll see more of it come next week in that lecture. Vector masks, for those of you who work in Illustrator already or taking the vector class, you'll learn how to create a mask over there in Illustrator. It's basically a vector-based mask that you're creating over there in Illustrator. Well, over here in Photoshop, you have the same type of masking with a vector mask. So text or a regular vector shape that you create, from Illustrator if you want to, or that you create over here in Photoshop, you can make a mask out of it with just the sharp edges on the mask instead of the softer edges you can get with the layer masking. Let's see, project-based examples. This is just different types of two different types of projects. Portrait layers, meaning that you're trying to do some photo retouching or color correction kind of thing. So you would use the layers for these particular purposes. The creative techniques, you want to be more of a painting or drawing type of effect that you're trying to go for. So you would use the different things we're going to talk about to do some of these things. And obviously, the stuff can go back and forth between them, between the different types of projects you would make. All right, common issues and solutions, layer problems, missing thumbnails, visibility issues, locking status, confusion. All this is basically, kind of showing you different things that may be a problem that you'll run into when you have someone else's project, especially, or your own project and you're not managing your layers and everything properly. You get confusion. You get people that come and look at your project and like, what the heck is this that you created? And it doesn't make sense to them. It looks good, but there's no way to kind of pick and choose what is going on in case somebody had to go in there and edit it or they're reviewing what you did. You want to make sure that you're doing what needs to be done. This is just the rest of this, and that's it on the presentation side.